Alright, greetings and salutations, everybody. I figured I'd do a little video right now because I'm actually out and about waiting for a store to open right now. So, I had to go out and get something. The guys don't unlock their doors until 7, and I got here a little too early. But, anyways, I'm bored, so I figured I'd do a video. I understand that it's dark out and you can't really see anything. It's about approximately 6:15 a.m. So, the sun ain't out yet. But I figured to talk about a little bit what's going on with my game. So one of the things going on with my game right now is that I've been doing. I finally got the faction thing figured out. At least in terms of the city underbelly of the big city. I think I've already mentioned this, but Galdeth is no longer Galdeth. It's Gilded Reach. I might use that name Galdeth for something else, but I thought Gilded Reach sounded nice for like mountains and like how the Duke of Gilded Reach got his wealth and stuff like that. Um, so I ended up putting together some criminal factions, and I've talked about the religions, and so therefore they have religious factions, and I might go into deeper detail into the religions and put factions within those factions. You know what I mean? But when it comes to what I've got so far in terms of factions, I've got 5 players into the five key players in the city underbelly of Gilded Reach, and so Gilded Reach is primarily divided into your basic market area where you have your inns and stuff like that, and of course the people who run these places, all of them with the exception of the banker and um, the um, general goods owner. Uh, they live in some of the districts ran by these gangs. But most everybody else, they live in the better part of the city, right next to their businesses. Um, so you have 5 key ones. 4 of them are pretty big, and one's kind of a like they kind of turn their attention away from gang crime. The first one we have, a very popular one in the city, although it's not the biggest, is the Iron Lions, which is ran by a figure known as Mad Dog Mordecai. And they are your standard muscle for hire kind of gang. They run like a protection racket. And so they usually carry like concealed weapons on them. You know what I mean? So like anything that's easy to hide, this, that, and everything else. They're there for like intimidation factor. You know what I mean? And um, so that's the basic gist of them. And eventually, I'm going to like figure out how these relate to everyone else. The the second one is the Cobras, which are kind of like a gang of fast talking swindlers. Like if you've ever gone to a street performance, uh, you see these guys doing like sleight of hand tricks and juggling and things like that. That's what these guys do. Only they try to swindle you out of your money, or they try to cut your purse when you're not looking. They try to cooperate in order to steal from people. Now they do occasionally put together like heist style robberies, but they don't really necessarily do that a whole lot. They end up just selling for petty theft, since that seems to suit their needs just fine. So, um, their figurehead uh, is a feller known only as Sly Boots. The other one, which is the biggest one, is called the Wrecking Crew. It's ran by a guy named Crusher, and everything from weapon smuggling to uh, protection insurance to running illegal fighting rings. These are the guys that are going to do it, and they're not very popular among the other gangs, but they're the biggest, and that's where the problem comes from. You don't dare provoke them because you don't want a gang war with them. Um, So they're tough and they've earned that. And so normally what ends up happening is like the Cobras kind of the way that I'm kind of drafting it right now is that the Cobras are kind of getting along with uh, the Iron Lions for the sake of banding together and trying to, stick together to avoid being, took out by this much bigger gang. So um, because of that, they are favorites for um, rich locals and traveling merchants for hire. So the wrecking crew like enjoys some kind of legitimate kind of business in addition to their illicit stuff. The fourth one is the Ravens, led by a figure known as Razor. This is uh this is very much your tropey gang of orphans. Kids that were orphaned, abandoned, that kind of thing. Like they had no other choice but to join and try to band together for the sake of survival. And so Razor is actually the oldest one of them, and he's a teenager. But he's also kind of figured out how to be kind of skilled at at thieving things. So like he will oftentimes steal weapons and stuff like that and sell them to the highest bidder of the gangs, so that they get some coin to actually spend on their needs and survive and try to get their luck up. But they because they rely precisely on that, on luck, they end up, they're obviously the smallest, and plus not everyone's an orphan. You really have to be an orphan to join them. So fifth one's an interesting one. The Black Widows, led by a woman known simply as a Spider. They started out as a street gang of spies and killers, and eventually they kind of graduated up to, while they still operate in the skids, which is the slum area. While they still do some operations there, they're nowhere near as active as they used to be in that area. Instead, because of their skills with subterfuge, sabotage, assassinations, espionage, that kind of thing, um, they are a favorite amongst the political figureheads of Gilded Reach. And because of this, they enjoy a lot of legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate business. They get hired out for like assassinations and like spying and things like that. And since politics, you always have like this really seedy side of politics. Um, the Of course their services are in demand. It's not like they're going to be going poor anytime soon. They have plenty of opportunities to make money, and so they end up getting the better end of the deals when it comes to how they're going to pardon me, how they're going to get their gold. They enjoy it, and they enjoy quite a bit of business. And so, like I said, I need to figure out these relations a little bit more. These are always subject to change because they're in the um, they're kind of in that first draft stage. So I might end up changing some of this stuff around, to things that make sense. So however, I'm pretty happy with where the Black Widows are in relation to everyone else, and I'm pretty satisfied with the Wrecking Crew as well. Um, in my opinion, I think I need to flesh out the Ravens a bit more, but they seem to be doing pretty good. Um, what else am I working on? Oh yes, I am currently working on the Tomb of the Forlorn, which I have redone the map to completely. Um, I'm doing the quote script, the legend, what it tells you what's going on when you go in the dungeon, this, that, and everything else, what you describe to your players. Um, I need to make a wandering monster table, and I need to continue with the descriptions of the rooms and stocking the rooms with like treasure and stuff, and then the monsters will come later. Like, what am I going to put monsters here? Like puzzles and things like that. I've got got some secret areas. I've got some things, and that there's of course right now the way that I got it is that the players can get to parts of level 2 if they make it, if they make it that far, but they won't be able to make it very far into level 2 because it'll require a key that's going to be hidden somewhere in the dungeon that they're going to have to find. There is some lore reasons behind that. This is kind of like the Usfer Mansion on steroids. Um, this is much more like The Exorcist more than like your standard swords and sorcery kind of necromancer kind of tale. So I understand this video is not exactly pretty to look at. I get that. I apologize. I'm just kind of bored right now, and I still have 30 minutes, so it should be pretty soon. So, as always, guys, take care. God bless. See you on the other side.